Hello, my dear friend. Thank you again. Today I want to let us study together a verse or spiritual poem very famous in Zen Buddhism or Chan Buddhism. It was written by 6 Patriarch of Chan in China around 1400 years ago, around 6 BC, 6th century, sorry. The sixth Patriarch, his name is Hui Neng. Hui Neng was a legendary, and he's very famous in Chan Buddhism. He had a sudden enlightenment when he heard a sentence from Diamond Sutra, while he himself was illiterate and uneducated man. He heard this sentence read by his fellows and got sudden enlightenment, and he was illiterate. So that's a region of sudden enlightenment in Zen Buddhism or in Chan Buddhism. Before we get into the details of this verse, let's have a brief introduction of Zen Buddhism or Chan Buddhism. Around 2,500 years ago, Shakyamuni Buddha had a sermon or preaching in front of thousands of his disciples. In his teaching, he was silent all the time and only held a white flower in his hand without any word. No disciples, thousands of disciples, could understood him except one of his 10 primary disciples, Mahakasyapa. Mahakasyapa understood his teaching, Shakyamuni Buddha's teaching, and responded to the Buddha in a gentle smile on his face. So that's a very famous story of flower sermon, which Shakyamuni Buddha transmitted the information of enlightenment to Mahakasyapa, or in other words, Mahakasyapa fully understood the meaning of enlightenment in a silent mind-to-mind, heart-to-heart transmission. That's the beauty of Chan or Zen. So Mahakasyapa was the first founder of Chan in India, which was 2,500 years ago. And there's followers follow his teaching generation by generation until the 28th generation. The 28th Patriarch of India, his name was Bodhidharma. And the Bodhidharma at that time went to China to spread his teaching. which was around two, um, 2 centuries, if I'm right. Just give a rough history, the date there. And he became the first patriarch of Chan in China. Then again, generation by generation, to the hands of HuiNeng, the fifth patriarch. Now, when the fifth patriarch HuiNeng get old, he won't find his successor. And he told all his disciples, everybody write a verse about his understanding of the Buddha, Hood, or the self, the nature of self, in a writing poem. That's what we're gonna talk about today. The verse by, there's 2 verses. One of the verse is by Hui Neng, the 6th patriarch's senior apprentice. In Chinese, we call Shixiong, who studied and followed the 5th patriarch HuiNeng earlier than Hui Neng, so we call it senior apprentice. His name was ShenXiu. So ShenXiu was like publicly received that he will become the 6th patriarch instead of Hui Neng. He firstly wrote a verse that was as following. He wrote, our body is the Bodhi tree, and our mind a mirror bright. Carefully we wipe them minute by minute, and let no dust alight. That's the verse from ShenXiu. He established another school of Chan in China, which is gradual enlightenment, while we have while Hui Neng, the 6th patriarch, started a school called Southern Enlightenment. That's where the Southern Enlightenment and the gradual enlightenment grows and flourishes in China. So ShenXiu wrote this verse. Firstly, let me repeat again. Our body, and your body too, is the Bodhi tree. Bodhi tree is a symbol that first it starts, there's a history again here. Shakyamuni Buddha attained enlightenment under a Bodhi tree. A Bodhi tree is a fig tree, a kind of fig tree. So 2,500 years ago, Shakyamuni Buddha attained full enlightenment, 7 days sitting on the Bodhi tree and enlightened. So Bodhi tree is a symbol that is like extension where you can get enlightenment. And ShenXiu in his verse said, our body is the Bodhi tree, is the Bodhi tree. Your body is a Bodhi tree. Give you a chance of enlightenment. Give me a chance of enlightenment, and everybody else. And our mind, a mirror bright, like a bright mirror, reflecting every image, sound, every information outside and inside. Carefully we wipe them minute by minute. We both clean the Bodhi tree, our body, and the mirror, our mind. And let no dust abide. Let we clear every dust that residing on our body and our mind. It means you're always clearing your body and clear your mind. So it's a principle of gradual enlightenment, which means in nowadays words is we unpeel the Maya, unpeel the illusion day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, until the core appears itself. The core is the nature of self, the true self. While the false self is removed layer by layer, layer by layer, then the true self will appear by itself. So that's the ShenXiu's verse, gradual enlightenment, by practicing every day, by practicing every minute to clean the dust in our body and mind. So after hearing this verse, the ShenXiu's verse was like pasted on the wall of the temple, where a lot of followers of fifth Patriarch Hui Neng, because it's like a competition. First, ShenXiu put his verse on the wall and show everybody, see, I am enlightened person. I can write this very good spiritual poem. And the sixth Patriarch Hui Neng, he heard about these words of this verse through his through his apprentice, because he cannot read. Okay, Hui Neng cannot read any word. He's illiterate. And he asked one of his colleague or fellow to bring him to the wall, in front of the wall, where he can, see the verse by ShenXiu. And he asked the friend or his colleague to read ShenXiu's verse to him, and he can try to understand. Then after he heard this verse, while they are both standing of the wall, in front of the wall, he said to his fellows or colleagues, and he had another version. He has one. He wants to somebody help him to write it too. He cannot read. He cannot write. He's totally illiterate. And following is his writing on with the help of his colleague. And he said, "There's no Bodhi tree, nor stand a mirror bright, since all is void. There is no where can the dust alight." I'll repeat again. I will put down on my description later. Here I just repeat again. There's no Bodhi tree, nor stand a mirror bright. He said, the body is an illusion. If we can put in a modern word, nor stand a mirror bright. The mind is a Maya, is an illusion too. Since all is void, emptiness, nothing but emptiness, where can the dust a bride. So there's no Bodhi tree, there's no middle bride, so there's no place for the dust to reside. So he used the negation. Here I want to point out, if you want to express something beyond words, if you want to describe something undescribable by words, inexpressible by words, the best way, if you want to express it by words, is negation. I had a previous session, negation and affirmation. If you're interested, you can check that. I have more detailed information there. If you want to express something beyond words, and you have to express yourself through words, the best way is negation. That's why in Vedic tradition, there's a neti, not this, not that, not those, not that these, neti. It's also negation. You see, every sage have something in common. There's no Bodhi tree, no stand a middle bride. Since all is void, where can the dust abide? Is such an absolute expression. So this verse signifies sudden enlightenment. You are enlightened already. No matter how many illusions you are having now, how much suffering you are having now, it's all our projection, illusion, Maya. It's our dream. We're right now in a dream. We create this world so real, but in the Buddha's eye, in the sage's eye, it's a dream. But please don't. We are not denying the meaning of the world. We are not denying the existence of human, animal, trees, planets, galaxies. No. Some practitioner goes to another extremity. They deny everything. That's not the Buddha's teaching. It's not the true teaching. Buddha's teaching is the middle way, the way. Neither denial or attachment, not resisting, not attachment, not refusing, not affirmation. So it's always the middle way, is the best way. It's like the S line between that black, white, and black fish and the white fish, the symbol of Taoism, yin and yang. You're always in the middle, S line, a dynamic interaction between black and white fish, between negation and affirmation. It's such a beautiful, beautiful realization. Let's get back to this Hui Neng's verse. So he was chosen as the Hongren, the fifth Patriarch successor, because of this verse. And if you really understand the meaning behind these two verses, gradual enlightenment and sudden enlightenment, you will notice that Hui Neng, the sixth patriarch, was already enlightened, and he tells something that what happened if somebody is enlightened, while the ShenXiu, the gradual enlightenment, his understanding is not enlightened yet. He say, I will clear my Maya, I will clear my illusion, I will clear this thought, body and mind, and I will get enlightened. You see the difference? If there's a room of enlightenment, HuiNeng is already in the room, and the ShenXiu is outside the room. He's saying how to get into the room, while HuiNeng is already in the room. They're talking about, they have different state of consciousness. That's the beauty of these two verses, if you really understand my pointing here. Okay, I will end this session by my understanding. They are both right. HuiNeng is right, because you are enlightened already. You just don't know it. You don't recognize your already enlightened state of consciousness. That's, if you don't know it, so you have follow ShenXiu's teaching, gradual enlightenment. It's a such good combination. We can practice right now. Take a deep breath. Find a sense of who I am. The sense of I am, I exist. If you can, you are enlightened already. You just find that your self-nature, the sense of I am or I exist. To find that sense of I am, you don't need any teaching. You don't need any sutras or doctrines. You don't need any teacher to find and recognize and abide in your sense of I am. This very moment that you can hear my voice proves you that you exist prior to my word to you, hitting your eardrums. But soon you will lose it, you see, because your six sensory organs, taste, touch, smell, sight, hearing, and your thought are so active now. Maybe not. That's good. But when you in your everyday life, they are very active and functional. So you lose that sense of I am very easily. Then you need ShenXiu's practice, which is gradual enlightenment. You try to re-establish that sense of I am by moving the dust from your body and mind. That's it. Take a deep breath. Find a sense of who I exist, I am. Sudden enlightenment. If you want to stabilize this sense of I am, you may need the teaching from ShenXiu. I mean, practice meditation to remove the dust of body and mind. Thank you so much. That's all for today. Bye now.